going on, dudes and dudettes? So before the game in Sao Paulo, Brazil this Friday night, the Chargers did make a couple roster moves. They did sign wide receiver Luke Grimm and running back Amar Johnson to the practice squad. They released guard Carson Barnhart from the practice squad and placed on practice squad injury reserve wide receiver Jalen Reagor. They also re-signed tackle David Sharp to the practice squad and released cornerback Harrison Hand from that same squad. Then they also signed tackle Forrest Sorrell to that practice squad and released David Sharp. I think that was the one right before that, so I believe Sharp is back on the team if I'm not mistaken. But when it comes to some odds of making the playoffs, yes, the Chargers, according to PFF, have a 51% chance to make the playoffs, and it's going to be as one of those seeds as a wild card. So yeah, not too bad. Still making it in there, obviously behind the Chiefs in that division. I think right above teams like Denver and a couple other spots. But either way, I think it's still a positive, and hopefully that is the case for the Chargers once again. And speaking of that game in Brazil, yes, the Chargers were able to defeat the Kansas City Chiefs in an upset, according to a lot of people, 27-21. Justin Herbert went off in that game, actually finally passing. He had 318 yards passing and then 3 touchdowns. Throwing also was 25 of 34 for a completion and attempts. Even Quentin Johnston had a huge night. Got to give him some credit. 5 catches, 79 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And yeah, overall, it was a pretty good game. I wasn't at that game. I was actually at my alma mater's game, their football game. I guess it was their first homecoming game, even though I saw on their schedule that they already lost a game at home. But I'll get into that right after this quick Chargers stuff. So yeah, luckily the Chargers still got the victory, even though I was not watching. And yeah, overall, did enjoy the highlights I saw. There was some times where I thought they were going to be running the ball, and they usually don't let Herbert, throw the ball as much until like halfway through the season. But luckily he did, and a lot of times he did escape and make some plays with his legs too. So that was nice to see. So yeah, Herbert looking like if he can keep this up for the whole season and stay healthy, he will be in the MVP race, in my opinion, as long as the Chargers record is good otherwise. But yeah, speaking of my alma mater, yes, I was surprised I didn't sign that many autographs for some reason. But yeah, they defeated Miller. They kept saying AV Miller, so I'm thinking that was Antelope Valley, if I'm not mistaken. But they had lost to Hillcrest, according to their first game, 61-15. They won last week at Bloomington, 53-34. Then they won tonight, 27-21. Yeah, I was kind of surprised it was even still that close. There was some questionable calls when it comes to timeouts and stuff, even by Corona in that final minute. But either way, still got the victory. They're 2-1, and hopefully they can have a pretty successful season coming up.